here we go. Feelings overflow. I don't really know what tone, cause I'm a restless soul. Oh, here we go. Feelings overflow. I don't know where to go. Yeah, I'm a hopeless soul. Oh, here we go. Feelings overflow. I don't really know what's on, cause I'm a restless soul. Oh, here we go. Feelings overflow. I don't know where to go. Yeah, I'm a hopeless soul.
met you, but you look. Oh girl, you blow my mind. I know what I would like to do, but you just keep on talking. I see your dog needs walking. Your folk drive you insane. I know, yeah, that's true. Of course, you ain't the one to blame. Keep on talking to me. You keep on telling me your dreams. You keep on talking to me, but I just wanna see you move. Yeah, I just wanna see you move. I just wanna see you move. Yeah, I just wanna see you move. Sure, I like to listen. It's not like I don't wanna know. It's just that you've been talking to me 3 nights in a row. I think it's time to let go. Forget the past, just lose control. 'Cause life's too short for yapping. Come on and dance, come give me soul. You keep on talking to me. You keep on talking to me. You keep on talking. You keep on talking to me. You keep on telling me your dreams. You keep on talking, but I just wanna see you move. 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 In this moment,
Yes.
I cannot say what's wrong or right.
No.
It's not hard to fool me,
No.
'cause I'm addicted to the good life.
Yes.
Yeah, lead the way, I follow. No need to say
No.
where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all, to the edge of it all. So tell your good lies, 'cause I'll buy no matter what. Yeah, susceptible now before the moment flies. Ooh, so tell your good lies, 'cause I'll buy no matter what. Ooh, susceptible now before the moment flies. It's not a problem,
No.
'cause I know what I'm getting into.
Yes.
Yeah, and nothing can stop me,
No.
'cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way, I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all. So tell your good lies. we are back. Shout out to the CIA. One love to the FBI. How we doing? Going to play another song on the way in. Because I don't think that camera is going to get the right angle. There it is. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to build it while we fly it, baby. Build it while we fly it. Just a second. Man. So as cool as it is out there, it got warm in here real quick. Welcome back. What a day. What a week. I want to start with this. I want to start with something special. And that's going to be over here. All right. Maybe I'll do it this way. You guys see the artwork, the photograph. I also want to introduce you to another piece. Miss Vanity. Pretty dope. We'll be talking more about her a little bit later on. All right. So, yeah, baby, Baba. When I say we build it while we fly it, I meant that shit. We build the airplane while we fly it. We build it while we fly it. All right. So, welcome, everybody. Whoa. Oh my God. This has been a comedy of errors. I almost decided not to do this show today for these very reasons. But the show must go on. The show must go on, and it will. Boom. Here we go. Moderators, what's going on? Can you guys hear me well? Get the iPad out of here. Woosa, angle 3. What? Damn it. This is a comedy of freaking errors, man. Anything that can go wrong, Murphy's Law. If something could go wrong, it probably would. And here's the funny thing. How good are you under pressure? Some people under pressure focus. Some people fold. Murphy's Law, baby. I like that shot because it's long so you can see the artwork. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Did it click off on YouTube? There it is. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Everything is going haywire right now. Big Shirley's Revenge, y'all. Big Shirley's Revenge. There it is. So, here we go. As we kind of get into our groove, I'm going to settle down for a second. Why is today so important? Today, this week, kind of special because about a year ago, we had the infamous Average at Best video. The video that started everything. Average at Best went mainstream. Why is that important? Well, it's important for many different reasons. One of which being that how different the world is before or after the video called Average at Best. Many of you guys may not even know the actual title of the video is Are Modern Women Victims? And it was originally titled A Smoke Show, meaning that I was going to allow anybody who wanted to come up and argue with me, to debate the points with me, to come up and say their piece. That was the original intent of that show. The funny part about it all this is, I'm sorry, where are my manners? Candle of the evening. It's a candle called Santal 26, but funny thing is, this is one from the One Hotel in Brooklyn. It's their candle. It's Santal 26, even though I'm not supposed to know it's Santal 26. And then the fragrance of today are several. All three of these fragrances I found when I was taking my tours around the country last year. Two of these I got in New York City. This one I got in Beverly Hills, from Beverly Hills Perfumery. Shout out to Alan, got this. This is Dionisio from Tetsurina Terenzi. That fragrance right there, I got it after I left New York City in Bergdorf. And I got this one, Magnetic Blend 7. You guys have heard me talk about that before, from Inicio. But this one right here is from a house called The Harmonist. This line is out of LA. Without a doubt, hands down, one of my most complimented fragrances ever. Ever. What's so important about these fragrances is when I was in LA on that trip, the old Average at Best trip, I was wearing a combination of these fragrances at any one given time. And everywhere I went, people were just like, my God, you smell so good. Now, let me tell you what's funny about the whole Average at Best thing. That happened on a trip that I did not want to go to. I did not want, let me make sure I get in good close here. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold still. I did not want to even go to LA. The Average at Best trip, I tried to find so many different ways to get out of going to LA. And my lady friend would tell you that. She's like, oh, you gotta go. And I'm like, you like LA, I don't. LA is much more in your town. I mean, I like LA for business, but I'm much more of a New York City guy. I like my suits. I like buildings. And when you're in LA, it's just a different vibe. No disrespect to LA. I mean, beautiful women there, good contacts, but I really didn't want to go. I tried to find any reason I could, and I really couldn't think of a reason not to go. So then what ends up happening? I go to LA and I check into my hotel that I normally stay at. And I'm at my hotel and I'm doing my thing. I make the best out of anything when I try to make the best out of any of this. Let me see what the likes are looking like, folks. Get the likes up. I make the best of it, okay? I go do my normal things, and then I go back and I do my show as scheduled. I do my show as scheduled. And on the docket on that particular day, I had done what can Becky show black women? Can white women show black women how to land high value men? And you got to go back to the reasoning and the thought process behind all these shows. For the longest, we had heard that black men, once they when they get on, they leave your ass for a white girl. So my thing was like, all right, well, if that's the case, what can these so-called white women show black women about getting a high-value man, since that's what apparently every black man wants when he gets successful? That show caused some controversy. Then I did another show discussing
something about weight that was trending. Another thing happened where I had dropped a video from a woman who called into my show, and they were saying a single mother of two still thinks she's the shit. Sorry, folks, I'm trying to let that pass. Single mother of two still thinks she's the shit. And it was funny because that woman was actually based in LA. And I ran into her on somehow, she was on some dating site. And it was just funny. That was a good show. Did a lot of views too. Murphy's Law, baby. So anyway, the show I did, the final day there, it was a smoke show. All right, you got people take things out of context. And I've been on World Star Hip Hop before. A couple of times I had been on World Star. But this day was not unlike any other day that before, except the time the person called in was different. This was a woman who called into a show that was a smoke show. And she is a regular viewer, a fan, as it were. And let's take it from there. Let's take it from there because we're going to see how different the world has been in just 1 year. How different things have been in just 1 year.
In this moment,
Yes.
I cannot say what's wrong or right.
No.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Those were hers.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, are you a PhD?
No.
I'm a PhD.
How many dogs you got?
One.
Really?
I'm sorry?
What kind of dog is it?
He's a cane corso.
He's a what?
A cane corso.
What is that in English?
It's a larger dog, and their breed is meant for guarding and protecting. They're very protective of their home and their family.
Okay, so what's your disagreement?
Honestly, I don't have a disagreement. I just came here because I honestly want some advice from you.
It says disagreement day.
Oh, I know, but this is my first time catching it on live. Normally I'm asleep. And
You have a job?
I do. I own a business.
Okay, so I do too.
And I do have a question. If you don't
But I
mind.
have a business. And if you wanted my advice, you could always book a session if you can't catch us at the show live.
I'm definitely. I was trying to go online earlier.
But all you have to do, man, but see, what kind of business do you own?
I own a pet grooming, doggy daycare, and indoor
Okay,
dog
so
park.
what you're basically trying to do is all right, so guys, I'm gonna let this play in the background, but this is what started it all. I talked to her, I took the call, a call that I normally wouldn't take, but I decided to do it. Something just said, take the call. And what happened was no different than what happens on my show many different times, many other times. I mean, there was nothing in that particular call that was markedly different. A woman who watched the show, she happened to had watched the show before. And she was saying that she wanted to find a man that was six figures for her own reasons. And the point I'm making is, in life, a big part of life is just showing up. A big part of life is simply just showing up. I went ahead about my business, left LA, and went on about my business. That was in mid-November. Nothing really had changed, Other things happened in life, blah, blah, blah. I was in Miami a couple of 3 weeks later, and I landed in Miami. And when I landed in Miami on a Wednesday, I had made around 15,000 subscribers in 3 years, followers on Instagram in 3 years. Okay. Actually, it was on a Wednesday. This thing started going viral Thursday afternoon. And all of a sudden, my Instagram just starts popping. I don't know what's going on. I look up, and I got friends telling me, you're on World Star. Well, I had been on World Star before, but this was different. I look at my YouTube channel, and I had crossed 100,000 subscribers back in August, but that's after a 5-year journey. Okay, 5 years. So when I hear all these YouTubers talking about wanting to gain 10,000 subscribers in a year, I'm like, the reason a lot of stuff today is possible, especially for men's content, is because of this video. The world is different now after one video. And that video, because I come from the business, I understood kind of what to do when you went viral, but this was different. And this wasn't just viral. This went mega viral. It was on YouTube's trending. And I'm getting notifications from friends and family members and people around the world that are saying, people are talking about this video. People are hosting watch parties in people's houses, clubhouses around the country to discuss this video. Men on this side, women on this side. This is like a Love Jones lock-in. My Instagram went from 15,000 to 115,000 in 3 days. My YouTube went from 100,000 to 300,000 in 2-3 days. I took an entire week as a media blackout, and I came back with that video. So what's happening? What's going on? And afterwards, by that time, enough had happened where people had a chance to weigh in on it. People from radio to Instagram, a lot of people that weighed in. This thing was, like I said, it would be complete arrogance of me to think that this is about me. It's not. This was a moment in time when one man had a conversation with one woman, and it resonated with an entire world. We've seen viral clips on World Star and things like that before, but that clip has done millions. And the last time I checked it, World Star has been around for the better part of 10 plus years, and it's easily cracked into World Star's top 20 videos of all time as far as velocity. I've gone around to different people's platforms, and when I've gone to platforms, it's just automatically, it gets attention. But here's the thing. It's not about Kevin Samuels. I'm doing the same things you guys saw me do all of 2020. And the same thing men have seen me do since 2017. What happened though? What happened? And I think what happened is you saw an actual real conversation, and people who have watched my content know that there's a long amount of content out there. It was condensed down to a few minutes. The most salacious, get the fuck off my phone, da 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 da. And we all know the response. Women collectively lost their damn mind. Who is this guy? Who does he think he is? How are you going to talk to her that way? I feel so sorry for this woman. And that was just, I think it was kind of interesting that so many people rushed to her aid as though she was some weak, helpless, defenseless woman. You actually had women who were 10 years older than this woman calling her that poor little girl. And I was so hurt looking at her feelings. I'm like, shut the French toast up. You are being disingenuous at best. This woman is 10 years younger than she. She's a fully functioning 35-year-old business owner with a 13-year-old. And you're acting like she's a little girl. But see, what it did is it really showed the hypocrisy. It showed the hypocrisy in modern mating. It showed the hypocrisy in how we talk about videos. Women can have preferences, and those are celebrated. But if men have preferences, they're demonized. You're a misandrist. You hate your mama. You gay. And this is the first time a lot of folks had seen a man be able to comport himself in a reasoned, thought out way with facts, figures, data, statistics, and have a reasonable conversation about men's preferences and men's expectations. And it was shocking. And the funny thing is that what happened after that, you guys have seen it. My personal life has been ripped to shreds, isolated down. Thanos, if you think Thanos did a job on the Infinity Stone, what people have tried to do to my personal life to try to find something. And all of this was like, why? It's not about me. But where we're at now is fast forward a year later, and now you see other content creators who've made platforms, and other men's channels have grown, women's channels have grown. The terms high value man are just as common as McDonald's and French fries and Coca-Cola. The term modern woman is as common as anything else. That all started over here. But all I've really done is I've taken conversations I've had with men in the barbershop, on the golf course, in the locker room, on campus, in the frat room, in elevators, and was able to distill everything down into one thing. A woman who wanted what she wanted and did not understand what the kind of men she wants from a woman, and thought that, well, I can do something to change that. I saw a video today where we're talking about body positivity and how the celebrity Lizzo is really trying to almost force that down men's throat, as if you're going to it's almost you're going to recalculate how men decide what's attractive. Women can have standards all day long. They don't want no scrubs. They don't want a man who's so short. He has to be over this tall. He got to have an anaconda, girl. He got to make 6 figures. He got to do this. He got to do that. And it gets only worse. But when the man just has the nerve to say, you know what? I choose to want to make my own legacy. I don't want to raise another man's child if given an option. And I want a woman who's fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive, childless. That was a revolutionary act. It's revolutionary, I don't want to be hyperbolic, but when the brothers put their fist up on the podium at the Olympics, cost them. Muhammad Ali decided not to fight, cost him. If you don't think this has cost me, you're crazy. But unlike when those men did those things, even something like Colin Kaepernick taking a knee, whether you believe it or not, doesn't matter. It shouldn't be a revolutionary act for men just saying what men want. I wasn't saying anything different than any other man was saying. This is why it's gone so far. When I walk out around this country, around the world, men everywhere of every race are saying thank you. Thank you. From the pizza delivery man, from the pizza delivery driver to the Uber driver to CEOs on Wall Street. People whose names you would not acknowledge, and that means something. The world has changed after this, because now, back when Sister Shahrazad Ali first wrote the book, The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman, that was a revolutionary act in the late 80s, early 90s. She had to walk around with bona fide security. Now we're to the point of doing something that has never happened in our lifetime. A real conversation started between men and women. So I'm happy when I start to see all these young podcasts with women on this side, men on this side, and they're talking about things. And I can see the influence that people keep calling it Kevin Samuels, and to the point to where they don't want to use the name Kevin Samuels, they just use KS. I don't care if they use the name, because it's not mine. I have my concepts and things that I take, but just like the men before me and the men after me, we don't own this stuff. It's our collective experiences as men. Now you may own something like
I'm a PhD.
Buy a Dog and Die Alone, Big Shirley. Hey, Big Shirley. How you doing, girl? You may own stuff like, all that good stuff. You own that kind of stuff. But, here's what it started off. Hey, girl.
I'm a PhD.
How about this?
I don't need a cookbook.
Yeah, all that stuff. But what it really did is it made people pay attention. And night in, night out for the last year, we've had the conversation. Some people have had different kinds of conversations. We've taken the conversation and expanded to the Instagram. And now we're continuing to go. And next week, you'll see where I'm taking it next. But bottom line is, ladies and gentlemen, the world is different after this conversation. Some people will say it's for the worst. Most people will say it's for the best. But I want to hear from the ladies. How has the world changed for you post Average at Best? And this is a smoke show. You are allowed to bring the heat. If you think the world is worse off for these conversations, call in. You are free to call in. Let me go ahead and put the disclaimers up. By calling in to the show, you waive all rights to privacy. If you don't want to be featured on the show, you can ask to not be featured on the show. That's fine, but I make no promises. This one, I want to get down to it. I've also asked people ask me, because after I did the Average at Best thing, I did the What's Going On show. So this was the Average at Best show. This was the Average at Best video cut out. But then after I did that, I did another show. I'm going to open the call line in a bit, and we're going to talk about it. After I did that, I did the show basically following right up. And the beautiful thing about it is by the time I really decided to sit down and I did something called a Christmas roast about 3 weeks later, where I roasted myself after the Average at Best video. And in that video, and this is all back there, I'm going to let you guys go look at the videos. I'm going to show you the actual titles so you can see yourself, because all the videos are still up. Nothing's changed. I keep the content up so everyone can go see everything themselves. So there's no question of what happened in the timeline, because it is important. I think we're going to look back over 2021 as one of the years that actually impacted the culture of dating. Here, this is with the video. This was the video right now. Pretty mother of two thinks she's still the shit. And this is when I told you that woman contacted me, went back and forth with me. But this was the video. Are modern women's the victims? The smoke show. The next thing I did was a video right here called Live from LA. The next thing I did was a video talking about, well, can modern women be reformed? This was a video talking about, can sugar baby caught finessing a man live on, yes, lady left her microphone open. So you guys can see the topics. And then when we get out, then I broke out the modern, this is the show where this is where the video happened. The clip happened here, but it went viral right after this. So after this video, I dropped the Modern at Best because I saw people were just only talking about a clip. 2 minutes of a 27-minute, 2 minutes or 3 minutes of a 27-minute video, a 22-minute video. The next show I did was a 3-hour show. What in the world's going on? And you can look at how the views jumped, because now I got all these new subscribers. And everybody came in and wanted to see what the hell I was talking about. Who is this guy and what is he talking about? And in this show, come on. This is when it had a chance to get broken down. This is on Boyce Watkins had a panel talking about it. Mediocre Tutorials and View had a video. Come on, what's going on? Come on. MTR had a video talking about it. So I broke all this down because instead of defending it myself, I just let other people talk about it. So those two videos are important. And then after that, we got all the way up here about a couple of weeks later, where I did a Christmas roast to myself, because it hadn't stopped. It hadn't stopped. It only gained more traction. That means there's a thirst for it. Just like when I say 54% of black men are single and childless, and 61% in the middle class. But of that 54%, would you believe that 43% of black men surveyed want to be married or want to be married or are in long-term relationships? 43% of adult black men. We've been told that we don't want relationships, that we're this, we're that. there was a thirst and a desire for the other side of the story to be told. And I think it's so funny that so many women have a common complaint. Well, I wish you'd show the other side of the story. Well, no. So if this video has been impactful to you, if it's made a difference, man, I'm going to do something I rarely do. Hit the damn super chat. Hit the super chat. Hit the Cash App. Hit the PayPal. Hit something, because let's not act like this hasn't mattered. This has mattered. It has mattered in ways that I think we're still trying to grapple with. You know, the impact to the black male image has been phenomenal. I'll say that. I will say there've been some downsides too. You know, I was talking to a consultant, and you know, there's a multi-million-dollar industry responding to this content. Yeah, there are people who've made careers, people who've made real six-figure incomes talking about Kevin Samuels. Just me. How do I feel about that? Get it how you get it. Again, you can't decide to sit in a chair and go decide to be a public figure and not take what comes along with it. I'm more concerned with the men who are able to feel like they're leading broader, fuller lives. Men are not feeling like they're crazy for wanting what they want. The upside of potential. I'm more happy with, you know, yeah. This is another question I've been asked often. If you could do it all over again, would you do it the same way? Would you talk to her the same way, or would you do it differently? Or would you change anything? Nope. I wouldn't. I wouldn't change anything about it. Well, I take that back. I would have changed a few words in there instead of saying, but here's the problem. Anytime something goes live, just like she stumbled over words, you're going to stumble over words. But when something goes super mega viral, everything you say is going to be parsed out by frame. So you can't really change anything about it. My intent was to help, like it often is when I talk to people. Or else why would I talk to somebody for 22 minutes on the wrong day when she obviously had the money and said she wanted to book a session, but she caught me one night? No. It's made an impact. I've seen something I've never seen, I had not seen my entire life. Young black men walk up to me with deference, respect. So whatever potential harm it may have caused, it's not intended, but was the overall impact been beneficial? That's the question. So yeah, people are going to dissect everything, and that's the thing. But here it is, ladies. It's in the comment section. Ladies, here's the Zoom link. How has average at best? How has the world changed for you post average at best? I will tell you, I've started to see more women come out and start making content for men. I've also seen women come out and be chameleons. Thought they're going to just catch a wave and come tell men what they thought men wanted to hear because men's content was hot. Then they realized that you can't be a pretender over here. Men's content in general, black men in particular, you have to be who you say you are. Men require you to be authentic. And trust me, I have the stars to prove I've earned my stripes. I went the long, hard way up the rough side of the mountain in the black sphere and the black men's content. But I did that because I've always done it. I did it because not because that was monetary gain, it's because I wanted to see men have better outcomes. There was something wrong with what's going on in relationships today. There's something wrong with many places. And I would tell you, many places where something's going wrong, there's an absence of men. And there's an absence of male leadership. And we've lived in a world that basically tried to outlaw being a man. Sit down, don't do this, do that, behave more civilized. Well, no. I'm a refined man. That's my masculine archetype, but I'm still a warrior. Don't believe me? Don't test me. I want to know how life has changed. Go ahead. If you don't want to be on camera on Zoom, you don't. I mean, if you don't want to be on YouTube, you don't have to be, ladies. But I will need to hear your voice. Do 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 do. I'm also going to give. And one of the things I've done more, I want to also focus on is, as harsh of a critic as I can be, I'm harder on myself. My heart is in the right place. I know I've had many black women say the way you talk to black women, X, Y, Z. But I've also had those same black women come on and say, but I notice when other people come over and try to talk to black women, you shut that shit down. That's right. And I will remain doing it. You cannot be a non-black woman coming over here talking shit to black women. You'll never be able to do that shit in my presence. That ain't okay. Black men can say what we have to say, but just like I couldn't go over into Asian, Middle Eastern, Hispanic, Caucasian, and say, you need to do this with your woman, or have white men can handle that. There are some things that are about relationships. This average at best thing is about relationships, but when it gets specific to our race and our culture, that's too sensitive an issue. And you may be right. Don't care. Because you can be right person, you can have a right message, wrong person. And that's why I also say, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, just like I mentioned over Thanksgiving. I see you guys in there. You should be able to unmute yourself. If you want to have conversations about anything that I say, understand, don't use my name. I would rather you be able to have the conversation. Go ahead. Hello? You just muted yourself. And to that end, oh shit, that's too bright. Come on in. I'm a perfectionist. I'm taking the show on the road, people. Godfather's coming to you. Hello, Angel. How are you? Go ahead and unmute yourself. Hello. How are you? I am well. So how has life changed since average at best? Or what's different? Or however you want to frame the question. What's different? Mm-hmm. Okay. How has it been difficult?
Kind of guilty because I didn't realize the gravity of certain things I was doing.
Okay.
And it was kind of hard to swallow because it was just.
Can you give some guys some examples? Because, I mean, are you married or are you single?
I'm not married.
Okay. All right. So, you say some of the things were kind of hard to accept that you were doing. Anything that stands out?
So like, the free dates thing, the using men thing. I didn't think that it affected them like that, and I didn't realize what kind of energy it was creating in the Black male culture towards women. I really did not see that because they didn't talk about it. But you also shared that men don't feel like they have a safe space to talk about those things. So that really helped me like look at men totally different.
Okay. All right. So, How long have you been watching the content?
I've seen 5 videos within
Hmm.
the last couple of months,
Hmm.
I'll say. Yeah.
So are you moving any differently in the dating spaces?
Yeah, I am.
You're like, yeah, sound reluctant.
Well, because I've been dating one person, so it's kind of hard to answer that.
Oh,
But yeah,
okay. Um,
yeah.
do you guys ever watch the content together, or do you just kind of watch it by yourself?
He watched the video when I called in and he was laughing because the comment section was kind of like tearing me up.
Uh,
But
Let me also mention the comment section. People, I don't control the comment section. I don't. I really
right,
can't. I have as many. I put as many controls on there. I have it members only. I have hundreds of words filtered, but the comment section is the public. It is what it is. Hold on, let me put you on
right.
mute for a second. Just uh, you said you'd start your camera later. Okay, unmute yourself. Hello, hello, hello. I can. Yes. How are you? Okay. How old are you? So how has things changed since the video?
Well, um, let's see. It's a little bit of a long story, but I think I found out about your work through an unconventional kind of route. I didn't find out about it through that video. I don't know if you know about a professor. He's based in California. His name is T. Hassan Johnson.
Yeah, I know Dr. Tia Son Johnson. Black
Mhm.
masculine studies.
Yes. So I um, uh, watched some of his videos. And so he
Hmm.
mentioned you a couple times.
Hmm.
Um, and so I decided then to find you on YouTube and I started watching your videos. And so it's so funny because I really empathize with a lot of the female callers who like are very like combative and very like aggressive and defensive when they call in because first, like to the audience, I think that it is quite a hot seat. So I guess kudos to you for, I guess, that. Because it's not just, I think it is a lot of, I feel like it's a lot of pressure. I think a lot of women are self-conscious, especially if, they're not used to speaking publicly, they have no marketing experience, it is a very like, um, I think it takes a lot of courage. So even though like sometimes women like act foolishly under all that pressure, like I understand like the emotional, like as you say, we are emotional creatures. So I can understand how like some women kind of like start like acting a fool. But
Okay. Would you say you
I
can
think
sympathize with the women that call in what regard?
just sometimes like women are very clearly nervous, like I can tell like sometimes women like trip over their words or they like get stuck on a certain like issue and you're trying to move it along like, okay ma'am, we've gotten to that point, we know X, Y, and Z about you, I'm trying to move it along, but she can't really seem to keep up. Like I understand that part of that is just the magnitude of being on a show with this much viewership, especially if it's your first time doing that kind
Okay.
of thing. But
But I guess the word I'm looking at is combative, though. Why can you sympathize with them being combative?
well, I think it's partially a lot of the things that I learned from Dr. Johnson and other like people who study Black people professionally, because I don't. But there are people who like go to school for years. I mean,
Yeah,
they go to
yeah, I
school
get
for
it.
the.
I get
So
it. But
like
but you
I
have to.
anyway, but like I
Yeah, yeah.
understand that like a lot of Black women like might not have a very good educational background, like, or a lot of Black women might
Is
come
that
from a broken
is that?
home.
So let me ask you a question. If you watch my show, I think, well, that's why when I hear these things, what are some of the things that Black women, as an ethnic image, are the most proud of?
What are we proud of
Yeah,
as a group of
yeah,
women?
as an ethnic image. What? Yeah,
I think we're proud of. Uh,
going to
I think
college, about their
yes,
education.
certainly education is a high. We certainly like to be
So,
educated. We like our
so,
degrees.
so you can't want a pat on the back from the world for being the most educated, and then turn around and say, "Well, we lack education."
Well, it is an interesting dilemma, but I think that you
It's
would
an
admit that the
I think
Black
it's an
community
interest. I
somehow
think it's
manages to have a
no,
lot
oh,
of
no, oh, you
degrees.
no. We have a lot of degree, a lot of. I think it's an interesting dilemma that if black women that you're referring to came and acted in their corporate world like they came onto this show, or acted in an educational environments like they acted on the show, what do you think the outcomes would be?
Well, I think there would certainly be disciplinary.
So
Um,
they, but the point is,
but
they
Black women
know
are
how. They
disciplined
point.
in school.
They go.
Oh,
My point is, black women have shown that they know how to act when their job or their education is on the line.
I mean, you can say that, but if you go to World Star, there's lots of evidence that shows that Black women sometimes don't know how.
I don't
You know,
think World
sometimes
Star Hip. I don't think World Star Hip Hop is a good cross section of black corporate presence.
that's true, but even your content has gained traction through that
And
website.
how unlikely is it to see a corporate 52-year-old black man on World Star?
Well, now it's quite common. You're
It's
all over
not
World
very
Star.
common.
And
I.
also other
Oh,
Black
you
men
can't
who
over.
are
You
like
can't
in the
over.
hip
You
hop.
can't see right now. You're doing
No,
exactly what I'm talking
I'm
about.
just trying to
You're
explain
over
myself.
talking me. And you were how old are you? How old are you? See, there's a low level lack of respect and a form of contempt to where you're going to be right no matter what I say. Now,
I'm 25 to
right,
answer your question,
you're
sir.
half my age, and I have to continue to raise my voice to overtalk you on a show that I'm running. And I'm saying, did you go to college?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you behave this way with your professors when they said something that rubbed you the wrong way?
Indeed, I did.
Hmm. Do you have a job?
Indeed, I do.
And when do you behave this way at work?
I have in certain situations.
Hmm. And you're 25. What are young lady? There's you can be right and still wrong,
I absolutely
and
agree.
there's no justification for women acting inappropriately just because they're in their emotions.
I agree.
So that's all I'm ultimately saying is one of the biggest problems men have is women tend to justify and refuse to take accountability for a multitude of things. They're always looking for reasons, and men look at it. Racism, white supremacy, Jim Crow, I didn't have a daddy, this, that. No, it's his personal choice too.
I truly, I truly sympathize, sir, with Black men's frustration with Black women. That's one of the reasons why I chose to call in. It's one of the reasons why, in some ways, I would consider myself a fan of yours to some degree. Um, but what I really wanted to say, I really wanted to answer the original question of the show, and that is, um, when I started really listening to a lot of your videos, I had that emotional, like, at first, I was kind of honestly repulsed by some of the things that you said. But I listened and listened because I trusted Dr. Johnson. And I was like, this man wouldn't refer me to a bad source. And after I was able to control my emotions and listen, I was able to recognize the truth, and also that I think that you are coming from a place of good faith. I think your tone is very like blunt and to the point, but you're a man, you're 52. I don't expect a 52-year-old to be, beating around the bush anymore, especially considering the crisis that is the state of Black relationships. So I am very grateful.
So let me
because
let me ask you this: 25. Okay, what I'm saying is no different than what would have come out of if you've ever been around the Nation of Islam, Farrakhan. You think what I say is tough? The church I grew up in. I think the fact of the matter you're repulsed, your word, is because there's a vacuum, an absence of Black male authority in our culture. To where when you hear a man speak as a man, it's offensive.
I agree. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a tragedy. And I think, I'm very excited when I hear you propose ideas like starting like a Black male like media, like, I don't know, network or like entity that can rival like these white media production companies and help elevate a positive Black male image. I am all for it, because I remember I was still
What would your role?
undergrad.
What would your role be in any of it? Do you want to be married one day?
I hope to. I do.
You want children?
I do.
Do you want a modern relationship or do you want a more traditional relationship?
Mm, I think in the end it depends on the man who picks me and what he wants. We'll have to negotiate it.
Do you want a modern relationship or a more traditional relationship?
What do you mean by a modern relationship?
A modern relationship where you have a partner. A traditional relationship where there's gender roles and hierarchies.
Well, the thing is, yes, I would like a traditional relationship, but traditional from my tradition. And I'm
What
not sure that
what is
my
tradition?
tradition is the same as some white European man's tradition or your tradition or some
What is? Hold
Latino
on,
Enrique's tradition.
hold on. What is your tradition?
I'm from West Africa.
Okay. Uh, right. And your tradition is the man a leader or the woman?
Uh, let's
Careful now.
see.
Careful.
It's usually,
Careful. Careful.
have you heard of a term called twin lineal? Uh, twin lineal like societies. So in the Western framework, it's very common for the man to be dominant and the woman to be subsumed. But if you look at indigenous African cultures and a lot of indigenous American cultures, there was no domination of the woman at all. In fact, in a lot of these cultures, the woman was
Oh,
elevated
this is
above the
okay.
man.
This is why we have so many different ways of doing stuff,
Exactly.
but the problem
And
is,
everybody's way
oh
works differently.
no,
The
no,
Chinaman
we're
does the
not, no, we're not.
Chinaman,
No,
the
see,
Arabian
you're
man
over
does the
talking me right
Arabian.
there. This is the problem. All that bullshit you're talking is
Okay,
bullshit.
it's not though.
Western Africa is
Oh,
not
but
they're not a, it's not a powerhouse. Name me powerhouses in economies in Western Africa. This twin lineal, matrilineal,
uh-huh,
unilineal, it still
uh-huh.
comes out to some sort of modern manifestation of a relationship where you don't have to follow anybody except what you want to do.
That's not true.
You can't even shut the fuck up for a conversation. Dr. Tia Johnson, if this problem, this is what pisses women off about my videos because they've been outed. Women like her are upset because they've been outed. There's a spotlight on their bad behavior. What man of any sort of value wants to feel that kind of to deal with that disagreeable nature. See, that shit used to pass for passion and education. And I'm an alpha female, a boss chick. That doesn't pass anymore. It gets called out. And that's one of the problems a lot of younger women have today. Hello, Ash. How are you?
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
I'm all right. Go ahead. How old are
Uh,
you?
I am 23. Wait, can I just not be on YouTube, please?
You're not. You're not.
Okay, thank
Go ahead.
you. I'm 23.
So how's things changed post average at best?
I love it here. I agree with everything you said. Or say in your videos. A lot has changed because I just didn't see certain things from a man's perspectives, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Just certain little things I took after really like binging your content like in an embarrassing way. I took etiquette classes, I took cooking classes. I got a cookbook. I got a cookbook because I was like, I didn't know how
I don't need a
how
cookbook.
bad it was. It was
Mhm.
it was pretty. It was kind of embarrassing. Like, but I just wanted to say like I agree and I love it. I love everything you say.
Well, here's the thing. I appreciate it. And here's the thing. Men, we don't expect women to all of a sudden abandon who they are. But the difference in how men in the chat room are responding to the 23-year-old woman versus a 25-year-old woman are night and day. I had to mute her. And I need you ladies to understand that the need to be right is pathological with many of you.
Execute Order 66.
Getting over the need to be right will do more to further your relationships with men than anything. This is where matrilineal, patrilineal, upsilineal, downsilenial, the hypotenuse around the what, get the hell out of here. Nobody want to hear all that mess. Look at the men in the chat room like, Lord have mercy, Jesus. Who'd want to deal with that? Go ahead and unmute yourself, Kiara. And I only deal with educated women. I don't deal with women, because I'm sapio. Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I am well. How old are you?
I'm 22. Can I not be on YouTube, please?
Sure, go ahead. We're going to get through it kind of quickly, though. So how have things changed since the average at best video or in the last year?
Yeah, so the biggest things for me are that, one, you really forced me to examine how many decisions I was making out of fear. And it was so many.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely taking a step back, assessing that. And I'm also on what I call my forgiveness tour. So I'm being able to forgive everyone. I even had some issues and some separation from my mom for like 5 years. I've been able to forgive her from that. So yeah, it's been amazing. Thank you for holding the mirror to us women, honestly.
Well, that forgiveness thing is powerful. You forgive the person that benefits the most from that stuff is you. It's always going to be the same place. So I'm go ahead and go over to Olivia. Hold on. I'm going to mute you real quick. Olivia, unmute yourself. Hello.
Yes, sir. Hi, how are you doing?
I can barely hear you. Your audio is a little bit off. How are you?
I'm gonna move. I'm doing well. Is this a little better?
Yeah. How old are you?
I am 28 years old.
Okay. So how's life different since in the last year?
For me personally, I have found since discovering your videos, it's made me break the fantasy of what I thought relationships were, specifically marriages. Meaning, I think I had these expectations of them always, of it always being a good time.
Right.
And
Right.
things always going well.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's interesting that a lot of women before last year were perfectly fine with being in debt, having to work hard, living kind of paycheck to pay, just living normal, and then understanding that they had to have delayed gratification, all these kind of things. But same women, when you ask them about marriage, they also want to become stay-at-home like wives with multiple children and not having to work to do anything except being responsible for maybe 10%. Like,
Right.
so you're willing to live your life alone with a cat or a dog, maybe female roommates, but if you get a man, he has to basically be rich in order for him to be a husband. So I'm glad that's kind of gotten through that, I'm down for the high value man, all about that, but most of us are average. Most of us are average. Let me get to you real quick down here in the corner. Sarah, what is that? Sarah, hello.
Sarathia?
There you go. How are you doing?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me? I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am well. So how's life different in the last year?
It's been hurtful and amazing at the same time.
Hurtful and amazing. Oh shit.
Yes, it has. I discovered you in July when one of my coworkers approached me and she said, I want to know how to be a high value woman. I like the way you carry yourself. And so I went on YouTube and I searched how to be a high value woman because I'm like, I'm not a high value woman. And
he said he wanted you to be hold on. He said he wanted you to be a high value woman?
No, my coworker, she was a woman.
Okay.
And I discovered your video on the tips on how to be a high value woman.
Okay.
And so then I started from all of your videos from the beginning. And now I'm engaged because I realized I'm a 4, maybe on a good day. And I sat with that. I said, you know what? And the only reason why I know that I'm a 4 and I just rock with it and I overperform and outperform in other areas is because I've spent too much of my life. I'm 38 now. I spent too much of my life pretending that I'm an 8 and a 9, lying to myself that I'm an 8 and a 9, manipulating men, thinking that I'm an 8 or a 9, delusional. Like you, I had times where I cried. There was a time where I stopped watching you because I was watching back to back to back faithfully after you did your show on body count. That hurt, but I took it because I said, shoot, oh my gosh, that is so true. But I didn't let it define moving forward. I accepted what you said. I love your honesty because I had to look at myself. My fiance watches you faithfully. I watch you faithfully. He heard me say in July, oh, I'm watching Captain Samuels. He's like, But when he started implementing, when he saw me starting to implement it, one of the things I implement is I left a career in emergency management where I was making $9,000 to $12,000 a month. I left that career before he proposed to me. I left that career so that I could be home. I'm in my own home until we get married, but so I could be home and support him, like you said. I sat down and I said, what do I bring to the table? I have a child. My womb's been used, like you said. And I said, okay, I have a degree, but how can I take this? I have a degree where it's not, I'm a PhD. I'm not a PhD. I'm good at Microsoft and Excel. So I sit at home and I support him when he has clients and stuff where he has to complete tasks. I say, well, is there any way that I can assist you or help you? Or have you thought about doing things this way? If he takes it, he takes it. If not, I'll sit home and I'll put together some things. I work from home. I do.
Are you less stressed now?
I am so. I'm gonna tell you this. You did a show asking, can modern women be traditional? And my answer is no. We will never be traditional. It's impossible. It's like a drug addict and someone who's been an alcoholic. Once you are that, you're that. The goal is to do the work daily to not fall back.
Right. So you can still have high quality of life.
That's right. That's right. And so it hurts because my inner being still says modern, but what I'm exercising now is traditional values. And it's at 30 years of life and the way the world and movies and everything is, I have to choose to be
every day
I want to be.
You have to choose it every day.
Every second. And it hurts. Sometimes I get up and
let me let you understand that the men on the other side, we weren't raised by 80% of us were raised out of wedlock. So the men who make it over to that side, that's all they've been asking for. Is we've had to make ourselves these things, and our failures and things like that, just like your shortcomings. We're both imperfect, but if we're willing to at least do our work and wake up every day and say, I'm not going to be traditional, but I can still have a high quality of life and still move forward, that's all men were ever asking for. So 2022 is going to be about self-awareness, which what you just said, you understand this is who I am and what I am, and then taking that and getting the most out of it. And now you say you're engaged, right?
Yes, sir.
That's
And
a hell of a
every day
thing
I
at
wake up.
38. That's a hell of a thing at 38. That's a good
It
thing.
is, it is, it is. And it, like I said, it's a daily process. I went crawling back after I watched several of your videos. I went crawling back to my fiance, crying, apologizing, being mean, being manipulative. And then as time went on, I said, you're the prize. And you have the right to exercise. You can go get a lean. I went and got me a Becky friend that not a friend, but I learned from other people outside of my culture and how they speak to their men, and just getting outside of who I thought we were supposed to be.
Hold on, and ladies understand, it's the doing. When men see women doing something different, that starts to rebuild a trust and a vision of what's possible. See, all this stuff, you'll look up in a couple of years later, you guys are going to have a completely different outcome as long as you guys stay on this very frank, open, and honest. Because one, you were raised one way, the men were raised another way. This self-awareness thing, and as long as we're on the path of just keeping it that way, we understand this and moving forward. This is change. Things like this have the ability to change generations. So congratulations. I'm gonna move on with somebody else though.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, see, a lot of you ladies think that you have to do Herculean things. Men just want to see effort, effort. I'm going to bring a couple more people in here. Oh yeah, I remember who that woman was. Yeah, ladies, you can't be here. Ladies, you don't have to be perfect. What is it? Do you change your name? Yeah, don't have to be perfect, ladies. And just like the whole thing saying that, I am a four or whatever. Look, people are trying to be, let's see. Who is this? Brittany? Unmute yourself, Brittany.
Hi,
Hello.
Kevin. How are you doing?
I'm well. How old are you?
I'm 24.
All right. So how have things been different this year?
Well, I will say that the first video that my longtime boyfriend showed me of you was the one that was titled "High Value Men Cheat." Also, can I not?
Oh yeah, high value men cheat. Yeah. Go ahead.
That was the first video, and I was just like, "Who is this man? Turn this off. This is madness." I was very, very upset. I was like, "If that's what you want to do, go ahead and do that." But after listening to it and listening to your rationale, and then him explaining it to me also, I definitely calmed down. I came to more of an understanding. I came from a family where the men cheated, my father and my grandfather. My mother didn't stay, my grandmother did stay. And so, I kind of always had the idea that I would not stay. But I just have more of an understanding now, especially knowing that so many women initiate their divorces. And I definitely
Do
want
you
to
do
stay
you
in my
understand?
marriage.
I want to say something to you ladies on this. High value men don't cheat. I need you ladies to understand crystal clear. When I say high value men don't cheat, instead they exercise options. That does not mean it is mandatory. High value men have more options than average men. But you know what they want more than anything else, Brittany? Ladies in the audience, you know what men want more than anything else? Men, your man wants you to know and understand. Look at him and act as if You know he is valuable to other women and appreciate the fact that he is yours. Men don't Men often leave because they're not getting that appreciation. They may be getting sex, but they're not getting apologies. Men, have you ever heard a woman tell a man, I was at the grocery store and the man said, ooh, tell your husband he's lucky, so and so and so and so. You heard that before?
Yeah.
Women say that to their men all the time. Your man wants you to know that you lucky, that your man wants you to know and act like you are fortunate to have him in your life. Act like it and verbalize it. That can't be replaced by any other female on the planet. I don't care what kind of vagina she has. That's really one of the motivating factors for men. If y'all just act like y'all appreciate us after y'all get us, options or not, and most guys don't exercise options. They have them. So, I'm glad it worked. I'm glad you heard that, and I know a lot of women are like, when I first heard my husband. I was listening to a woman earlier this week. Earlier last week, she said that her husband turned her on to the videos. Ladies, if your man tunes you into my platform, there is a reason. Try to put your emotions to the side and understand what he's trying to tell you. Hello, Jessica.
Hello, good evening, aloha.
How old are you? Uh-oh. Come on now. Come on now.
A proud 41-year-old.
Oh, I got you. So how's life different?
Life is different because I was given an opportunity to live life differently.
Okay.
And I had lived most of my young adulthood life as a single parent.
Okay.
And while I still am, my daughter is an adult now. And I
This
was
is how
then
life is.
given an
This is how life is
opportunity.
different after watching my videos.
Well, I'm hoping that it will be.
Well,
Believe it or not,
what I'm trying to understand is, have you this video? This is a specific show. It's about
yes,
how is life different this year after the whole
Yeah.
average at best video. So can you kind of tailor? Is that what you're calling in to
Yes.
talk about?
I can do that.
All right. So kind of narrow it down to that focus.
So much of what was said over that video and some of your others, because believe it or not, I was only able to watch two, that video and a previous one.
Okay.
But I'm seeing a lot of those instances appear in just this 1 year of me exercising this new life of mine.
You've only
So
you've,
I'm
you've
pretty
only been able to,
hopeful.
hold on. You've only been able to get through 2 of my videos.
This is now 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. So
and
I'm
2 videos and then this live. So
okay.
3.
So how long? So when did you discover my content? When did you discover my content?
Today, this evening.
Oh, okay. Well, then that makes
Yeah.
sense. Because people don't know, and you say you've been able to get through 2 videos. If they're thinking over a year, they're like, dang.
Yes.
Keep watching. Keep watching. I'm going to get into some other folks.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Okay. See, I think one of the things this should also help single mothers understand is a lot of single mothers hate my content because they love their children. They love their children and they believe their children are everything. But to the world, your child is another person. And so many women were told that it's acceptable. We've gone from before, when I was born, women were shamed for having children outside of wedlock, and you didn't even talk about it till now. Women are proudly having children by multiple men out of wedlock, and then telling men that I'm a package deal and you need to be proud to raise. I've heard a woman actually say that it's godly. Um, and so many women, single mothers, that's one group of women, and then women who tend to be overweight. The groups of women that tend to really have a visceral reaction are women who overestimate their sexual marketplace value. And wait till next week when I go into the next part of sexual marketplace value. If you think 2021 was something, wait till the next part. A young lady, I remember who you were. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. It's not going to happen. Um, yeah, the young lady that was on earlier, she'd called in before. So what we're going to do is we're going to allow. I do have one question though. I do have one question. Do. Yeah. So that's what.
Can I stay off YouTube?
Excuse me.
I would like to stay off YouTube.
Have you noticed a marked difference in the way in which you choose to communicate versus the way the other women have chosen to communicate?
Yes.
What have you noticed?
Well, you made a thorough example of me, didn't you?
Say again.
I said you made a thorough example of me.
No, I didn't do anything.
You reprimanded me.
I'll ask the question again. Have you noticed the difference in the way you've chosen to communicate versus the other women? And you said you have. And I asked you how you did, and you turned it down to be being accountable for it. You've chosen to communicate this way.
And you've chosen to communicate the way you've chosen to communicate.
So
I'm not upset with you for it. I told you I
no,
appreciate
I
your
don't.
tone.
I've told you before, young lady. What you feel about me is fine, but what you see me to miss is these. Except for one woman, other women were black. And my point was, just like you feel sympathy for how those women are combative and them felt such and so forth, it's because that's you.
Of course.
Well, and that's the problem. Just like it was them, you or you, it's a choice. So there's no reason to be sympathetic to someone who chooses to be disagreeable. You let them be disagreeable and own everything that comes positive or negative. You're free to be disagreeable. You're free to be argumentative. You're free to exercise as much sign language as you see necessary. And you take the only thing men want from women is to accept accountability and consequences for it all. Don't blame anybody. That's what you have done multiple times. That is what men find unacceptable.
Well, I simply don't know what to say, truly. I've thought about how this would go many times. I mean, I've watched your show for quite a while and I've wanted to call in. And I actually tried to book a session with you, but I couldn't afford it. Um, and I tried to reach out to you through email and through Instagram. And I really only called onto your show as a last resort. And what I wanted to tell you was how you changed me personally. Like during the pandemic, I was a real shut-in, to tell you the truth. I mean, I didn't go out. The pandemic, it caused me to leave school because it was just a lot of chaos and they closed down the campus. So I left school and I moved back in with my parents. And that was the first time I'd been living with my parents uh, since I was like 14 or 15 years old, like full time. And so, my parents are baby boomers and they're very, very traditional, very, very devout. And they've always held us to a certain standard. And it was very difficult at first to live with them and my siblings, who are also in their 20s. And, I became very, very depressed at a point because, I think the pandemic was very depressing for many of us, with especially all the killings that were happening. And I think I really had a breakdown. And anyway, when I started watching your videos, I started going to the gym. And I started for the first time. I don't know if you've watched the show. It's on HBO. It's called Mad Men. But I think that you would be a character on Mad Men. But it's about like these.
It's AMC.
Hmm?
AMC, Mad Men, the advertising show.
Yes. It's about like advertisers and like
Yeah,
these like
Don Draper,
and
Roger Sterling. Yeah, young lady, why
and
do you
like
think you were having? Why do you think you were having so much? Why do you think you were in such chaos? Why do you think you were in such conflict when you went home with your traditional parents, who were baby boomers?
because we came up in completely different environments, socially and
Okay.
culturally and
Right.
technologically.
How do you feel like you're interacting with your current situation, your current culture? I mean, your current generation, your current time frame. Are you thriving? Are you doing average, below average, above average?
I think it's hard for me to say. I know a lot of people. I'm like a zillennial. I think that's like the
Uh-huh.
the
Uh-huh.
term for my generation. I'm a zillennial.
Mhm.
So not a
Is
millennial.
life matching up to your expectations?
I mean, honestly, sir, um, I guess it depends on the way you look at it. Yes, for the most part. I mean, I don't know if you know much about like millennials and zillennials, but
Are you
we don't
kidding?
have a lot of money
Hold on, hold
across
on,
the
hold
board.
on, hold on, hold on. Excuse me. Hold on. I have a 21-year-old daughter. I mean, I don't think it's kind of crazy to think I don't know when I talk to people every day. But it almost sounds to me as though I'm asking you: is life meaning at 25? Is this where you expected to be at 25?
I think so. Yes, I would say I'm healthier than I've ever been before.
Okay.
I wanted to tell you that because part of it was you. I started to go to the gym, and I actually started this particular kind of like exercise called CrossFitness, and I'm the only Black woman at my gym, and
Young
it has
lady,
been an
hold
eye-opening
on. Oh, okay,
experience.
okay, all right. Uh, you got a lot going on, and I would just say this: have you graduated?
No, I'll graduate in spring.
Hmm. Are you still living at home with your parents?
Yes, it's in
Okay.
our
Will you
culture, it's
be? Will you?
traditional for a
Okay, that's
woman
fine.
to live
That's
with
fine.
their
That's
parents
fine.
until
That's
they're
fine.
married.
When you graduate, are you going to be living at home with your parents until you're married?
Um, I'm not sure yet,
Well, you
but I
just
know
said
that
you
that's
just said you
always
just said in my culture it's tradition for us to live at home until we're
yes,
married. So are you going to
yes,
be
but
living home with your? Are you going to be living at home with your parents until you're married?
I'm not sure.
Why not? You just said in your culture it's traditional to live at home with their parents until you're
Well,
married.
it
Are
is
you going to live at home with
traditional,
your
but we
parents until
don't
you're
live in our.
married? Are you going to live at home with your parents until you're married? See, the question I keep asking is you bounce back and forth between the culture when it benefits you and you can shuck it when it doesn't. Which
I'm
is it?
trying to explain it to you, sir, but
Yeah,
you
you
won't let me
explain it to
tell
me
you about
very
my
well. You're a
culture.
modern woman. You're a
No,
modern
no,
woman, a dual-minded modern
I've
woman.
never
And
identified.
people don't feel sorry for dual-minded women. You cannot play the sympathy card and say, woe is me, and then want to be a modern goddamn woman. You can't say traditional when it benefits you and modern when it benefits you. And the problem is, women like you are living in conflict with reality. Hello, Keisha, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I am well. How old are you?
I'm 44, 45
Good.
next month.
Cool. So, how are things different this year?
Oh goodness. I would say I found your content maybe 8 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't hit as hard as what I'm hearing other people say. Probably because I was already moving in a lot of masculine energy and tended to use a little bit more analysis and logic than
Mm-hmm.
some of my counterparts or friends. But it was definitely disruptive in a positive way. It's kind of like blowing up the foundation and building from scratch. A lot of renovation.
And yeah.
So it's been difficult, been very difficult. I've put myself into therapy. I've put my two daughters, or I asked them to
Well, there you
do
go.
therapy, and and I'm getting married next month. But
Hey.
one of that I struggle with is the practicing, because it's like when you fire off the bullet, when you're mouthy for no reason, confrontational, combative, aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm aware of those things now, but sometimes I'll slip up and something will come out, and then it's like I see it, and I have to apologize immediately, and
Yeah.
work on not
How
that
old are you?
happen.
44?
44. I'll be 45 in January.
Okay, I'll give you a little bit. At our age, we are pretty much who we are. The ability to apologize and really, really feel empathy for your partner goes a long way. None of us are perfect.
Yes.
We all are imperfect, especially by our age. Look, if we were trees and you were to cut us, you'd see the rings. Okay, that's not going away. You're not going to undo decades of use. But this is where us being more wise. When you mess up, just be for yeah, I mess up. I'm sorry, and mean it, and it goes a long way. It really, really does. Um, Men and women, I've found that are willing to accept a lot more and give grace and mercy if someone is willing to, uh, in good faith, approach. I mean, it means the world to us men because we don't like conflict with y'all either. We really want to get on to the good part. Remember that song, Women Gonna Get to the Good Part. You know, to the good part, that old new school jam. We want to get to the good part. We ain't got many more years left. God damn, we don't want to spend attention and stress and in therapy. We want to get to the good part. Get down to the good part. Just apologize. You'll be all right. Congratulations,
Yeah,
though.
thank you. That was my next point though, because I'm hearing about all the relationships. So I'm already working like a
Mm-hmm.
lot. I work like 60+ hours a week, and like I said, I put myself in a very masculine role, masculine energy. But one of the things that, aside from building and rebuilding the relationships that I have with my fiance and with my daughters, my
Mm-hmm.
father, my brother,
Mm-hmm.
I was not paying attention to how the finances were flowing. And one of my biggest concerns now is how I'm going to get buried, who's going to take care of me, and living check to check to make sure I put my daughter through school. I didn't think through a lot of those things. And
Mm-hmm.
after listening to you, you kind of forced me to sit down. And I always praise myself to be very logical, but that
Right.
totally missed the mark. That totally missed it. So I
Well,
really appreciate what you do
I'm gonna
there.
tell you. I'm gonna tell you something. Next week, you're gonna love my broadcast because I'm gonna go in on this student loan, school, this debt. I really firmly believe. I can't prove it, but this stuff is targeted a lot to us to keep us in financial. Anyway, I'm gonna go next week because now that we're starting to understand that you're not the enemy, I'm not the enemy. We need each other. We have to find out we want each other. We need each other, and we're better together. That gives us something to work on. I get so tired of hearing black people discuss black relationships. I went off on some big people today. They were all over 40. And the men and the women, my wife ain't this and that, the whole battle axe and that, this woman over here. I'm just like, oh y'all shut the fuck up. I'm like, when you go around non-black people, do you hear this much bullshit? Do you hear this much drama? It's all negative. And that's what we got to get a hold of. Us Generation X people got to get a hold of our mouths and how we discuss each other. Because we learn wrong things and we know sometimes we just be talking and don't mean it. But it matters to the millennials and the zennials and everybody else because that is part of our ethnic image. That's on us as Generation X to learn how to control this demon tongue. Don't say a damn thing. It's oftentimes better to say nothing than say something. And the fact that you are becoming aware, more self-aware, you're going to be right on track for 2022 because self-awareness is sexy. There you go. Appreciate it. Happy holidays.
Thanks. Same to you.
All right. Ladies, black women owe 22% more in college debt than white women on average. Jesus Christ. I said this to a brother today too. Oh, I better be careful how I say that. I got to do a program on this. Gentlemen, as an aside, move this to the side. How much do you think a quality woman should cost? Because women are an expense. Women are an expense. And if you are not trying to move a legacy or have children or whatever, but if you're in that 80% of black men who want relationships and that 43% who want marriage or in a long-term relationship, I know you exist. You gotta understand that women are an expense. And this may sound cold and callous, but I need you guys to start thinking. I'm talking to the men now, not the ladies. Ladies, close your ears. Close your ears and go la 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 la. Close your ears and go la la la. I don't want you listening. Okay. Guys, you got to start thinking of a woman almost like a vehicle. You know what kind of vehicle you want, but every vehicle you get is the cost of the purchase price and the cost of ownership. What is the cost of ownership for the kind of woman you want? A lot of people don't buy certain vehicles because the cost of ownership is too high. Well, I only like educated women, so I can't sit around. I got to expect a woman to have a certain amount of, there's consumer debt, there's student loan debt, there's other kind of things. Whole program on it. Whole program. I'm going to have guys call in on it because I know guys are going to lose their shit. But we got to talk about it. But that does not mean you buy anything. I'm still on your side. Remember that. Still on your side. All right, let's go. How's life changed since Average at Best?
Hi, Mr. Samuels.
How are you? Go ahead.
I'm great. And yourself? Okay. Well, honestly, I was one of those people who've seen the video, reacted like, who is this person? But honestly, I'm the type of person who gives people the benefit of the doubt. So I went to go watch one video and I was like, oh my gosh, he's making sense. I almost was embarrassed because I watched one clip and instantly made an assumption. And after doing my research, I was like, oh my gosh, he's making sense. And I'm showing other people and they're like, no, that man, he's just talking crazy, this and the third. And I consumed hours of it. I probably started watching 2 or 3 months ago and I've caught up. I'm very much up to date. And it made me look at myself and I thought I was raised with you are a queen, you are this, you are that. You don't need to be looking for somebody who is X, Y, and Z. But I had to understand, well, what am I bringing? And you put the spotlight on me and other Black women who, unfortunately, some have not seen yet. But I had to look at myself and realize that, oh my gosh, I'm 23. I didn't say my age. I'm wasting so much time. So I took this year towards the end, winter is coming. I was on that move. I live in Miami. I'm now moving to Dallas, into a city where
moving to a city where marriage is possible. Miami, a damn sure ain't.
Right. I understood that the degree that I was going for is just, it's not a job,
Right.
And I want those things, and I'm definitely, your videos are free game. And people just need to eat the meat and spit out the bones. And every time I bring it to somebody, I'm like, is he lying though? Is he lying?
See, what you start doing is start bringing me. Don't bring me, just bring the game.
Right.
It's kind of like, back in the day, they used to do blind taste tests. They would have like a can here and a can here. Which one do you like? Soda A or soda B? I mean, A or B? Go back and look at the taste test challenge. And then people were like, ooh, I like soda A better. And then they reveal it and it's like Pepsi or some shit. And you're thinking, I like Coke. Do the blind taste test. I don't need the credit. I just need women to start understanding that men want to hear women say what you just said. I am starting to consider men and how who I am and what I do impacts my future with the kind of man I say I want. That's what men have always wanted. Men do not want perfection. They don't want women that are this big, who ride unicorns and float on clouds. They don't want that. Men want actual, real women who just think about us. We're not asking for a lot. Just that. So thank you and enjoy your last bit in Miami, but Dallas is much better. Yeah, and if I were you, I would. West Village is a great place to live in Dallas. The rent's a little bit higher, but you're in the middle of everything.
I got Richardson, so it's a start.
Well, just make sure you actually. I would find a nice church home there because church is a great place to network and whatever's going to bring like Uptown West Village, Uptown West Village area. There's a lot of stuff to do around that area. Make sure you also if you're in Richardson, join a gym that has a lot of, like if you 24-hour fitness right around Lover's Lane on I-75, probably gonna be the best place to join. All right, have a good one.
Thank you. You too. Good night.
Bye bye. Look, man, I get women every day. Oh, I see you, Brittany. Brittany, you're next, and then Jasmine, and then Francis. Hey, Brittany, how are you?
Hi, Kevin.
Hey,
Nervous.
that's okay. You just talk to me. Let me say something to the audience. I'm saying next week, audience, when I talk about this student loan debt, oh my God, y'all gonna have. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna give you 6 hours notice. You're gonna need wine. You're going to need wine. Okay, how are you, Brittany?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How old are you?
I'm 31.
All right. How has things changed since? How has things been different this year?
Well, since I've been starting to watch your videos, it's kind of similar to Saraphia, I think her name was, but it just really made me realize a lot of things that I was doing before that I guess I was oblivious of. I really had a selfish mindset and I didn't really consider men's feelings or even to think that they had them. And I felt, I don't know, once you actually take it in, it's a big slap in the face. And I started to look around like, why wasn't anyone around to tell me this or, what was going on or, you know. So I don't know. I just insight
It's eye
after the
opening.
video. It's very eye-opening. And I feel like if I would have knew this prior, maybe my life could have been different. But I'm gonna take it for what I try to do better
So
going
we
forward.
can't. See, one thing I don't want anybody to do, men or women, is to. We found out about it when we found out about it. I remember people like, man, I wish I'd known about you 5 years ago. I was like, I wish I'd had me 10 years ago. We got what we got. But the point of the matter is, now we have information that's useful. And there's an intellectual part of us that want to know who's responsible for, basically like, man, who's responsible for giving us all this bad information? Well, we can answer that question as we are doing the work we need to get better. But the work to get better, to improve, to be more self-aware, and to have a better quality of life right now is paramount. And it'll correct the other question on down the line because there's an entire institution that's profits off of us being separated. But the thing is, when we're together, that's not going to threaten their profits. They'll just make money a different way, and we will too. So that's what the rise of men stepping back into the role of leader and this and that actually improves the economy, the family, all that kind of stuff. So appreciate it. Let me go ahead and get to the next folks. We're getting a little bit behind time. Francis and then Jasmine. Night, Brittany. Francis, how are you?
Fine. How are you doing this evening, Mr. Samuel?
I am well. What do you got for me? How are things different this year?
I just want to let you know how you have changed me.
Huh.
I
Okay.
found out where I had gone wrong. And the first thing I've started to do with these young ladies is to say, forgive me. For giving you some information that was not right. So that's the first thing you've done for me. The next thing you've done for me is to cause me to move out there, to open a channel to where I can help young women become marriage minded women and give them the tools that they need, those tools strictly from the Word of God. And that's how you changed me. And I just want to thank you for your show. And please keep up the good work, Mr. Samuel. Don't stop.
Well, we certainly, thank you, and we certainly need women who are, elders of the community, women who are my age, older. Young ladies need to hear you say that just as much as men my age needed to see our fathers say, I'm sorry for whatever. Just like I see a lot of tears on a given week. And they're tears of joy, because so many of us feel like we, are something's wrong, life has been off, and so much can be accomplished with just saying, I'm sorry, and we can do better. I appreciate it, ma'am. I got to get on to somebody else down here, Jasmine. So, especially for the women telling, use this holiday season to communicate with the women in your family and see how y'all can become better overall. Hey, Jasmine, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. How old are you?
I'm 28.
All right. So, how has this year been different?
So this year has been dramatically different because I'm gonna make it quick, just to simply put, you have helped me effectively listen to my boyfriend, not just listen, but effectively listen. When you've chosen the right guy, especially with the help from the elders around me, um, basically, long story short, like he has helped me forgiving my ex because I'm super stubborn, so that I understand more that we are not equal in the most beautiful of ways, because alone we go fast, but together we go far. But simply put, my explanation behind that is, if I'm gonna act like a man, then what does a man need me for?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
you know and especially, I've gotten kind of my stubbornness from my mom. She's a hardworking woman, and she has been the mother that she could in the best of ways, but also we together, working together, we have noticed that she has done some wrongs, and we work together to build a better relationship. But she is, we tend to be emotionally driven. And I would like to reference Scarlett, from Gone with the Wind. She was kind of all over the place. And I feel like Rhett was really important to her in her life because he kept it to the point, but he was really strong from walking away. So that's really all I have to say. Oh, well, one more thing. Also, you helped me navigate and helping men understand how to call out, the women in their lives about being abusive to them.
Right.
We try to act all nice and like, oh, it's okay. But no, it's like you got to look really deeper within the issue. And, we tend to be, I guess, abusive in a way, but like we don't notice, or we try to manipulate our way. But that's all I really had to say
We'll
about
get
it.
there. Self-awareness, all this stuff.
Yeah.
We're building it as we fly. We ain't gonna get perfect and get there tomorrow, but we're getting further. So I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Bye bye. You know, you ladies be amazed at how like I said, apologies go a long way. Who is this? Sorry. Go ahead and unmute yourself. How are you? How old are you, by the way? How old are you? Okay, go
So
ahead.
I was a little worried that I wouldn't be able to figure out how to do the Zoom thing, but I'm in there.
Go ahead.
So I'm really grateful for what you're doing. I started watching your shows maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago, and then did a lot of catch up in between. And the first time I caught one of your shows, I believe I came across you actually through a different vehicle. And so I knew your name from other stuff. And um, and it was purely entertainment value at first. I was just like, wow, I think one of the first shows I watched was She Thinks She's a 10 or something like that. And I was just, I was floored. And I was like, oh my God, I have to watch this all the time now. But what really became important and affected me, I'm a widow and I'm raising a teenage daughter. And when I was in the beginning years of my marriage, I used to watch a lot of self-help shows, things, how I could improve my marriage, how I could be a better wife. And the only resources for that were basically middle-aged white women who would give great discourses and explain to you that a man is composed in such a way that your role is to support him, to some degree feed his ego. And what I found was that most of my girlfriends who were also either Black or Latina weren't willing to hear this, older white woman explaining the way you're supposed to treat your man and your husband. And what you're doing in a much more avant-garde way and and with a lot more strength is bringing a topic up to the Black community that we lost maybe 50 years ago. And I made a comment in the chat. I don't know what camera I'm looking at, by the way, but I made a comment in the chat that the nuclear family has been under attack for 50 years now, maybe more. And the brunt of it has been suffered the most by the African American family for different reasons that also played into that. And so our women have been taught now for possibly 1 or 2 generations that they cannot depend on Black men. This is what society is telling us.
How old is your daughter?
My daughter's 16.
Okay. So are you teaching your daughter, what are you teaching your daughter, men are for in her life?
Well, she's about to start listening to your videos. So that should tell you where I'm at. I was kind of screening you a little bit because she's a little young and I was like, oh my God, can she handle this? But I think she has the maturity to handle it. And I do speak to her about your topics.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you that I have to getting a little long into it. And I do have to bring other people. Let me tell you something. You're 48, I'm 52. My daughter's 21, yours is 16. When my daughter was 8 years old, I was amazed at some of the stuff they were talking about. I'm not shocking. My daughter watches my content, her college. I'm not shocking. And one of the biggest disconnects is they didn't talk about relationships when we were coming up. They certainly aren't talking about them now, to where these kids aren't even dating. They're just having sex. Yeah. That's all they're doing. They're having sex. They're swiping left, swiping right. They're hooking up. So I'm saying as a mother, it is going to be incumbent that you actually talk to her before the girls in high school and the rest of the world. And it better comes from you. And if you think this is shocking, grab her, take her phone and go on her TikTok. You'll be shocked.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's why I'm preparing her to start, because your message is so important. We have forgotten our roles and what truly is fulfilling. And there's nothing more fulfilling than having a man in your life that is willing to do anything and everything to support you and your family.
So a couple more questions for you. You said you're a widow?
Yeah, I am.
How long ago did you lose your husband?
I lost my husband a year ago. Okay. So it's fairly recent. It's very painful.
Well, I would say that, it's wild out here. I'm quite sure you know it's wild out here. But it's good that you speak, if you're speaking about men in a positive light, that men actually have a value outside of the ability to pay bills and have sex. That matters more than anything else. Let me get on. I got to get on to a few more people because we have about 6 more people there. Appreciate it, ma'am. Bye bye. Guys, oftentimes you also have to. Let's see. We got a couple more people. Oh, here we go. Sasha. iPhone. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. She says iPhone. Boom. All right. Give it one more try. Miss iPhone. That's all it says. Unmute yourself. All right, she's not unmuting herself. So it's getting late, guys, and I got a flight in the morning. And I'm getting ready to go out of town next week. I'm not going to announce where I'm going, but you'll see when I show up. Look, just think about how different the conversation is. When all this stuff first jumping up, it was like, who the hell is this dude? Who does he think he is? His mama, your mama black, blah, 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 blah. Even my critics and detractors are they're starting to be like, that's just Kevin. So it's not as shocking yet. Guys, there's a next wave. A next wave is coming because if you've been on following fashion, fragrance, or relationship kind of content, you've been enthralled in this. This stuff is going mainstream. And when it goes mainstream, we're going to jump all the way back to the beginning of Average at Best and all this other stuff. This is going to be part 2. That was Iron Man 1. We are effectively at Iron Man 1. That's where we are. Iron Man 1. Some of you guys feel like we're all the way at Infinity War. No, we are at Iron Man 1. And if you understand what I'm talking about, men understand we are at Iron Man 1. If you're in the Godfather series, we aren't even to the Godfather being shot yet in Godfather 1. We are just past the wedding in Godfather. The wedding just happened. Don Corleone says, if there's nothing else, I'd like to go to my daughter's wedding. That's where we're at right now. We're actually past that. We're actually say, Michael, where's Michael? I'm not taking a picture without Michael. Michael goes and gets Kay Adams, gets Kay and takes the picture. That's where we're at. We got a long way to go. I have 1 million subscribers. A hell of a lot. Thank you all. By the way, if you're you need to check to make sure you're still subscribed to this channel. YouTube is going through and it unsubscribes people from time to time. The algorithm, when it updates. Some people think it's malicious. Maybe it's not. Just check to make sure you're subscribed. Make sure your notifications are set to all. Next week, I want to announce some things too. I want to do some giveaways and things like that. But just make sure your notifications are set to all. Make sure you are following me on Instagram because a lot of stuff goes down on Instagram on the immediate and on TikTok. You know, there are a lot of people find me from TikTok. But a lot of those platforms aren't me. Follow my TikTok because we're going to be going TikTok. I'm going to just give you an upfront. Self-awareness is sexy. I said it. I'm already a couple, 3-4 weeks ago. I'm going to start bringing in more and more people from that side of the camera in. The work never stops. I'm going to be going out in the field talking to people. That's right. So don't be surprised if you see me in your city walking around talking to people. If you see a 6'4" brother in some Chelsea boots and a suit smelling good, that's me. That's hi, how you doing? I'm cool to shake pictures. Take pictures, give you a pound on shake hands. We do that in Corona. Take pictures and keep on. Thank you. That's what we do. I am good with that. Tiff, unmute yourself. Look, I know that a lot of men did not learn this stuff coming up. And I need you men and you ladies to understand, we don't have to finish life how we started it. We can choose to finish strong. Whatever mistakes you made, hold on, Tiffany. Whatever mistakes you made prior to 2019, they're there. Whatever mistake you made prior to Average at Best, it happened. What comes next? Hello, how are you? Tiffany? You muted yourself. You gotta unmute yourself.
Hello, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How old are you?
I'm 25.
Okay, you sound like you
25
have.
and recently engaged.
Okay, cool. Sounds like you have YouTube on in the background.
Oh,
You need
yes.
to
I
you need
actually
to
was
mute it.
watching the show on like TV. I'll turn it off.
You gotta turn it off.
Oh, pardon.
Yeah, she still has it on. All right. So when you guys have it on in the background, guys, understand something. You see all the angles changing and all this other stuff. We're just getting started. We're just getting started, taking the production value up higher. This stuff is going to have an assistant behind it. Tiffany, go ahead and unmute yourself again. I want this show to be. It's going to become much more interactive, much more involving. Hello, Tiffany. How are you? You said you're 25 and you're engaged.
Yes, I am recently engaged.
Oh, congratulations.
About a couple months. Thank you. Thank you so much. All thanks to your videos. Really, my fiance, when we were dating a year ago, we were dating for a long time, but he showed me one of your videos and I realized that I wasn't treating men the way I was supposed to. He taught me and he taught me with your videos. We watched them, we tune into the live ones Monday and Wednesday and Friday. And he's teaching me how to be, treat a high class man like himself because he's a doctor, he's breadwinner in our family. And yes, I am educated, but I quit my job so that I can be a good, loving wife and prepare for our marriage together. And when we have, our kids, I need to be a good cook, a good mother, and a good wife, and treat them with respect. Because that's what high class men are looking for these days. Is women who can treat them with
Congratulations
respect
and
with honesty.
you're kind of. I think there's a little delay. Well, congratulations, number one. Number two, send me an email with your not an official invitation, but send me an email with the wedding date and invitation. Because I'm starting sending out wedding gifts. I've just made the decision. I'm starting sending out goddamn wedding gifts because if these weddings are starting to happen, appreciate it. And happy holidays, man. I got to get on to one more person. Thank you very much. Look, ladies.
And I want to tell you.
You go ahead. You still there? Go ahead, Tiffany. You still there? I don't know what just happened. She blanked out on me. Well, here's the thing. She kind of blanked out on me. But anyway, when people say they're getting married, when I start, and I send good gifts. You goddamn right, I send good gifts. I'm not cheap. I send good stuff. Because I'll be damned if you send me, I want a good gift too. Send a good gift. Number one. Number two, I lost my train of thought. I was saying that I'm going to be out and about. Self-awareness is sexy. All this other stuff, interactive content. It's about moving the needle forward, involving more people in the platform. Hello, how are you? I can. How old are you? 36. Okay. What do you got for me? How are things different this year?
Thank you for having me. I watched that video, Average at Best, and I gotta say, I mean, I was I was really triggered. I was really triggered. And I'm like, damn, this guy is checking me like no one ever has. Like I feel like I realized that I haven't taken responsibility really for how my relationships have gone. And it made me upset. Like it made me upset, triggered, mad. And I could only look at myself. I could only come back and like, I can't, I'm too old to blame my parents, right? I'm too old to blame friends or mentors or whatever. Like it doesn't even matter. It all just comes back to how I live life in 2021 and so
Do you have
on,
any? Do
right?
you have any children?
I don't. No, I don't. I just actually, I am divorced. Actually, I settled a financial settlement actually today. So
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
but I don't have any children.
well, but one day you'll get back out in the dating environment, and I'm going to say something too. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. I'm going to say something to all you ladies, and I need you to understand what I'm about to say and the intent in which I'm saying it. Ladies, understand something. One of the most sexy, alluring, and enticing things any woman can be to a man of value is teachable. Teachable. Let me tell you what it does. Teachable flies directly opposite to the need to be right. It flies directly opposite to the need to be right. So it automatically undercuts sign language. Being teachable is something a woman can do for her man, and it is something that you can give him that you never gave anybody else. Remember, I used to ask the question, what do you have to offer a man that he wants that you have not given to another man? That question vexes me like it vexed you. And sorry, you're not a virgin. You can't give it. You can't fall in love the first time. You've already been it. You've already done a lot of these things. But I refuse to throw a whole entire group of women away because they're over a certain age and we didn't know. I don't think that way. But I think one of the things you're hearing is you're hearing women who have been able to put off their feelings of being triggered or whatever and made themselves open. Being teachable is what a lot of men really desire because that means you're almost customized for him. Being teachable. Good faith now. This is not a manipulative chameleon tactic. This is real. Just like you hear women saying, I was going to school to get a degree. I quit that and I'm deciding to go over and do such and so forth. Men are just asking for you guys to be what makes most women happiest, to be helpmeets, to be support systems. That does not mean uneducated, and in the kitchen and pregnant. That's not what that means. There is nothing, in my opinion, quite as sexy as a woman who has a bachelor's, a master's, a PhD, and then takes that and is using that to help the family business grow. Enough to where your husband can leave corporate America or the rat race and start their own business to where you're eating off of what he makes. Because when I was in corporate America, I told you I sold in excess of $45 million in products and services. And a lot of people ate off my effort. When you own your own stuff, sometimes I do think, what if the world could have been different? I could have started my own LLC, and the same companies I was working for, I could have contracted with, had my own consulting firm, bought stuff from them in bulk, sold to the very same people I sold from, giving them the same thing. I would have made at least 10%. At least 10%. So that's 4.5 million. I did very well in corporate America, but I tell you, you don't make what you make in business. And the thing is, most people, I'm going to also tell you, men in general, black men in particular, you want to know one of the major reasons to get married? Vertical building. Vertical. We got a bunch of horizontal business. You're an owner, I'm an owner, he's an owner, everybody's an owner. But if you want to build vertically, it's not about being good at what you do. It's about being able to work with people. Marrying into wives of, man, we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. And I know I'm just tell you right now, I know I got a broadcast next week that is going to be contra-fucking-versial with the men. But it's only tailored to a sector of men. It is not for most men. But for the men who want legacy, men who want to have a family, you want to build that kind of stuff, man, I don't even want to say it. I'm going to have to drink before that broadcast. They might boycott. No, they ain't gonna boycott me because the guys who ain't gonna be interested in it, they ain't gonna even watch it no way. So that is what it is. Shout out to Yemi Mind Boss. I was gonna pay my light bill, but I'd rather super chat and teachable message on the head. It couldn't be more right. I was sitting in the dark for the month for that. Shout out to Yemi Mind Boss, man. Men ain't asking for much, ladies. Men will go down in looks to go up in cooperation all day long and twice on Sunday. When I say men are simple, we are simple in our actual desires. We only get complex when the basic core desires aren't met. Oh, shit! Put that in a fucking greeting card. Men are simple. We are simple in our base desires. We're only complex when our base needs aren't met. God damn. I need to start making t-shirts. Next year, I'm going to launch merchandise. Yes, t-shirts. I'm a PhD. I want the onesies that say my mommy's a PhD. I want onesies that say my mama got a cookbook. That's right. Yeah. I want little shirts that say future CIA, future FBI. Goddamn right. Yeah, taking over with y'all's help. All we need is to make difference where we are, people. Also, men are very simple. We're very simple. The reason it's so complex is because when a man can't get those simple needs met, we got to try to get a portion of them here and there and here and there. When all he really wants is the big piece of chicken and a shoulder rub, a kiss on the forehead, and a you mean the world to me. This doesn't work without you. I'm lucky to have a man like you. He ain't got to take the elevator. He'll jump out the motherfucking window and fly down. Men are very simple. You are either his kryptonite or his power source. Which one is it, ladies? Are you kryptonite or are you the power source? You cannot be both. You got to pick. But it is better. Did you hear the woman that said she went from making $9,000, $10,000 or so a month to making half of that? You know what she say? She's less stressed and happier. Who told you you needed to go out here and build and be ambitious and build a career in this? Is that really what you want? Man, I'm going to start preaching here, and I got stuff to do. I got to go see my mama. I'm going to see my mama tomorrow. So, see my mama. That's right. I want to see my mama. Yeah, my mama like me. I want to see my mother. Be in OK Sizzle for the next 2 days. Then I get back and I flew out. All right, man. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. Yeah, we got stuff coming up. And also the self-awareness packages, they go back on sale. I'm going to be launching them on Monday. We've already done a few, but they're going to drop Monday. Be a great Christmas gift. Self-awareness is sexy. Self-awareness is sexy. Guys, the world has changed a lot since Average at Best. I would anticipate the world's been better for us all. We get to choose. We don't get to choose what happens to us. We only get to choose what we do about it. That's what it really comes down to. I met some incredible people. I've seen some cool things. The most important things I've heard, I've seen men tell me they met their wife in my group. I've heard women. You've heard them talk about it tonight. So I think it's been a hell of a year. And my thing is this. It's been a hell of a year. And I want you guys to remember one thing. One person went one place that he didn't want to go. Did a show he didn't want to do. Took a phone call he shouldn't have taken. That's not destiny and providence. And the thing is, we're just getting started. Now it's not just one person here and that person over there. Now it's all of us. And we are just getting started. If that don't give you hope for what's possible, if that does not give you hope for a possible future, I don't know what does. Till next time, peace. We are gone. No, I'm not going to shimmy.
In the small can't stop me. No. 'Cause I'm addicted to